Halló agus fáilte go trí seascad den program ag BBC Alba a bhí sa taispeanach na boranich ingantach an na sùil spórs na Alba. Is me Iona Ballantyne agus am táide fáilteúr ar Rebecca Sellar a haar ascáilrúm san stiúdio. A program lé éile acu gaibh nach agus an toiseach géibh sin in neachgus ura bh Rebecca agus brúni sin ar go cudromach sa haspórs ar a bhí na Bheir. Brúni sin rís na lùth-chleasaiche Shannon Archer agus Louise Christie a híileráis le bain bh Geamaichean na h-Ostair an in Birmingham. Agus bheir sin súileráis ar na Geamaichean ag Alba in na h-Ostair agus Poblachd na h-Èireann, le skipper Pedro Martinez Losa ar cudromach an Cupa na Cruinne in Avlína. Rebecca, welcome back to 360.
It's great to be back.
Well, thank you for coming back so soon, because there's always so much to talk about, but actually this week, to start with, we thought it would be really great to hear about the power of sport and how it can influence people in so many different ways of their lives. I mean, for you, I know that's a huge part of your story. How would you kind of reflect on that throughout your life?
It's been so impactful in so many instances for me. Right from my childhood, sport was something that I just loved moving and being involved, and it helped me see the positive. Like, no matter my disability, I got out there and got involved, and it was just, it was a joy throughout my whole life. When I was in my adult years, when I'd lost my connection to sport because of my disability kind of creeping up on me, it gave me that chance to reconnect with myself. It helped me massively with my anxiety, my depression. It helped me find a new friend group, and it's helped me through some tough moments in my life as well. So without sport, I frankly don't know where I would be. So it's...
It sounds like it's impacted your life in almost every single way. Is there a moment that you realised that sport was your strength?
It was only in my 20s when I had fallen away from it, and then I came back to it in the moments when I was on the pitch, or like when I was playing tennis again, and I felt that spark. That's when I realised like the love that I'd had for all of these things, doing any sport and just being active. So it was finding that connection again was the moment that, like, even just running after the ball, as soon as I got back to that, I just remembered the joy I got from doing it all.
It is actually amazing to hear, and especially how it kind of gives a path for so many people, and especially recently we've seen a huge growth in women's sport across the globe, especially here in Scotland, kind of everywhere. It's amazing to see. How important is that going ahead?
It's incredibly crucial, and I think what we need to do is allow others the opportunity to try these sports out. Like, there's so many options available, but to actually say to women, give this a shot, try it, because that's where the sport will grow from, is actually getting other people to try something for the first time and find their own spark, wherever it may be.
And for you, how important is it for sport to be available for people of all different abilities?
Massively important to me. I mean, that's when my disability started taking more of an integral role in my life. It was disability sport that helped me find my way back to a positive aspect of it all. So that's where I think, like, we need to give others the opportunity, and to me it's really crucial to get children those opportunities who are impacted by their disabilities, the same opportunities in sport that they would have if they were able-bodied, because it will have all of those impacts, if not more so, for people with disabilities to actually be able to build up their confidence, to know how to work around their disabilities. Yeah, it's just absolutely crucial.
Well, tell us, for you, what different sports throughout the years have you tried and adapted to?
Since my younger years, I've tried all of the sports. In my younger years, I played netball in school, tried out football in school as well, cycling as well, skiing was another one for a while. The ones that I found in my adult years were the ones that I had to adapt to, because that's when my disability started affecting me a little more. In my younger years, I was still able to compete in able-bodied sports. And then my hip issues started becoming more prominent in my life. And so that's where wheelchair tennis came into play. I couldn't run, I couldn't manage the impact so much on my hips. So I turned to a chair. And that's a lot of people who are ambulant, like myself, who have a disability, don't think that wheelchair sports are available to them. And that's something that I'm trying to change, to say, actually, no, if you have a condition that means that you cannot compete in able-bodied sport to that level, then wheelchair sport is something that's available to you. Even if it is just, say, like you've got a fused ankle or anything like that, you still can access able-bodied sports. Paraclimbing, that's another one. That in its own is just literally adapting to the wall in my own way. Whatever way I could get up that wall, we did.
So impressive.
Thank you. And then amputee football is played in 2 formats. The one that is adapted most is where you're playing on crutches. I played both versions, but obviously with my hip, that's when the crutch and the crutch version basically is the one that was more suitable to actually being able to play with the issues in my hip, although I have had to take a step back recently.
But that's the thing, just hearing all that, it just shows how crucial it is to have these opportunities available for everyone, because going back to what you said at the start, it just shows how it can change your life.
Yep, like mine has been absolutely completely changed by these opportunities. And I've taken up a full-time role in that sport to give other people these chances. Because I just think that even if they were, well, what I want to do is try and get children down that competitive route and to help build up these sports further. Also, I guess, just to get as many people, we want to build up the sports as we do. We want growth in every sector, basically. It's
really inspiring to hear, and again, it just shows why we do programmes like 360, so we can hear just what people do and go through, and the power of sport too. It's really brilliant. Thank you so much. Well, Ryan Shannon Archer agus Louise Christie h-Ostair Alba nuair a chosin iad bán uva agus bán aghaidh ag na Geamaichean cho-fhlaitheis. Han dia seachcha ar a bhí brown rain begin sin agus na gaiteag bhí rope.
Háisí Shannon Archer agus Louise Christie an na gymnastics nu dh'fhaodadh beic agus chanéalaíocht iad chomhaidh fan nuair sin.
So I started when I was 4, and it's because my older sister was doing gymnastics, and I'd be the one that go with my mum to drop off and pick up and be that annoying little kid that would run around the gym that wasn't supposed to be there. So kind of started from there. Mum just put me in a class because I seemed to love being in the gym. And yeah, just kind of went from there.
Yeah, it's similar. I was 5 years old when I started and had a lot of energy when I was younger. I did things like kinder gym, so my mum signed me up. I don't think she really knew it was rhythmic, but yeah, it worked out well in the end.
Han dí seachcha a ruchcha Alba an Airson idir gealaíochtas and spars.
Yeah, so I'm artistic gymnastics, so I do the vault, uneven bars, beam and floor. So they're kind of the 4 events that I do, and I would say probably my best one is probably vault.
Yeah, and I do rhythmic gymnastics, so we have the hoop ball, clubs and ribbon is probably my best event.
Bíú a táisce gamach an na gymnastics ag uisgama ág, agus fan a codí ganachta a lùth-chleasaiche sons go faighinn Cruinne either far a bhéiliad an Jew.
Because we're so young in the sport, we don't really know what's kind of going on. We just kind of go like, oh, you're going to go into this group, and we're like, okay, yeah, that's fine. But yeah, kind of young, because gymnastics is a very young sport. It's kind of like 8-9 years old is when artistic you start to go down the development route and the elite pathway that kind of takes you on to hopefully bigger and better things.
I had a bit of potential when I was younger, and the coaches at the club pushed me, but I think kind of in 2019 was like a breakthrough year for me. Kind of found my feet as a senior, got onto the Great Britain squad, and it kind of took off from there.
Stiach an opra Cruinne na h-Èireann an na Scupa na Alba son na Geamaichean cho-fhlaitheis, a sé bhí cuaisin Jeremy go learpaseach.
Yeah, so we had a lot of back-to-back trials for Commonwealth Games, and it was kind of quite soon after the last trial was done that we kind of got the call that I'd made the team, and I was actually at my first GB squad of the year and got the call, was waiting all day for the call, finally got it at night, and yeah, it was just kind of a massive relief that I'd kind of done all that hard process of trial and I finally made it onto the team.
Yeah, so I had a lot of international competitions. I was travelling a lot at the start of the year, and that was all going towards my selection. And then I had a little bit of a break before I found out, but yeah, I was just over the moon when all the work had finally paid off and all the travelling and competing Yeah, it was a massive relief. Everything's been building up towards the games, and it's not just the selection process. This is like years of hard work and dedication have gone into this kind of selection. So yeah, it was like a big weight lifted off us when we finally got selected, and excitement and a little bit of nerves for the games.
Yeah, I think it's definitely been each time, because I was in Gold Coast 4 years ago, and it's definitely the competitive nature between the squad, I think, is quite high now, and it's kind of, you got to work for it to get on that team. You're not just going to get it handed to you. So it's definitely, as the years have went on, it's got more competitive, which is nice to see.
Ringing G-seach h-Èireann in Birmingham, Choshing Shannon aghaidh bound dríomh de Alba on the round gymnastics Ellendish and Ban, agus Choshing Louise Ballantyne on the gymnastics troimhe.
Yeah, I think the games as a whole, I think going into it, I was quite nervous. I was more nervous for this one than I was the last one. But I think, I mean, it wasn't a home games, but it did feel like a home games for us, because when we marched out and they announced Scotland as a team, the crowd just was like, they were outstanding. I don't think any of us expected it to be as good as it was, especially finals day. Woke up very, very nervous for that final. I think I said to my coach, was that I need you to distract me from what's about to happen right now. But yeah, I think I was last up in the final, and the crowd was definitely getting behind me, so which definitely helped kind of calm things down a little bit.
Yeah, I think I was a bit of the opposite to Shannon. On the last day of competition, I was a bit more confident. Every routine that I did at the games, I got more confident. I kind of got the nerves out on the first day. I hadn't done the rib routine as I wanted to on the first 2 days, so I knew what I needed to do. And yeah, I just felt confident. I'd put the training in, and I knew that I could do it.
Yeah, I was saying like to the kids earlier on, I don't think it's actually fully sunk in yet, because yeah, I didn't even look at the score, just kind of waiting for the scores to come up, and just saw the 3 next to my name, and I just think everyone saw it, just like instantly started crying, got emotional. I think it was like a mixture of happiness, relief that everything had actually finally paid off, and I'd got that medal around my neck.
Yeah, for me, I was quite early up in the final. I think I was third on, and I went into the lead, and I held on to the lead right until the last routine when I went down in second. But I mean, I didn't go into it expecting a medal, so to come away with a silver was just amazing. Yeah, the best feeling, especially having like so many Scotland flags in the audience. It really did feel like a home games, and the support was just amazing.
Ha Shannon agus Louise son an ewels achgus in a sculach do na gynelach on the gymnastics na Alba. Is he at an dachas gevrosnik at kutshu, gus driach gals and spars.
Definitely, I think, especially for us as kind of history makers, I don't like to say it, but yeah, like it's really important for us to kind of put across these younger kids today that, like, in the past, Scotland's just kind of been there to participate in the games, whereas now we're up there and we're fighting and winning those medals. I think it's really important, and we love days like these where you get the kids coming in and they like love what they're doing, love being around us, asking for pictures and stuff. It's satisfying for us to kind of know that we're passing that on to the younger kids, which yeah, hopefully they can carry that on into the future. It's good to be able to share our experiences with these kids today, that they can kind of hopefully take that coming away from today and being like, oh wow, like I want to do that, I want to be able to feel like that. So that's kind of the aim from these days.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. And for me as well, in 2018 there was no rhythmic team at the Commonwealth Games, and then this time around it was just me. So hopefully it inspires the next generation, and hopefully at the next games there'll be a team for rhythmic as well. Yeah, I think a lot of these kids are just starting out their journey in gymnastics, so it's really nice to share our experiences and knowledge with them, and hopefully inspire them to keep pushing and make future games for Scotland.
Chanilo hopper Cruinne stad de Shannon agus Louise, is he at a coin to dirt go farpa Shanela.
Yeah, so for me, I've kind of had a little bit of downtime after the games, kind of looking after the body, got a couple of injuries that I'm trying to heal at the moment, and hopefully potentially take the rest of this year and then go into next year stronger, ready to compete again.
Yeah, I'm similar. After the games I went out to a World Challenge Cup in Romania, so after that I've had a bit of time off and I've just started back in the gym now, so getting some new routines and preparing for next year.
Rebecca, what an amazing achievement. How much did you enjoy watching that?
It's absolutely fantastic. It's so mesmerising to watch the ribbon work. Like, it's absolutely beautiful. They've done absolutely incredible, and I think they're doing amazing to inspire the next generation as well.
And they're so humble in their achievements too.
Yeah. You can see they've just been focusing on that from a young age, that they've taken it step by step, and I think they've just taken it in their stride the full time. amazing.
Totally, and you can see it's paid off. And what about those young kids being able to see the two of them come back from Commonwealth Games with a silver and a bronze? That must be so inspiring.
I think, yep, it will be lighting up their hearts seeing that. To actually have someone you can look to and be inspired by it's something special, and I know that it will be inspiring them to consider like going further in that. They'll want to work harder. They'll enjoy the sport knowing that there's opportunities out there as well.
And some of the kids that were in that kind of class there, they were probably around the age where Louise and Shannon started. I know you've got a huge different age range of children that you coach. How do you keep them inspired and motivated and really keep them engaged throughout the years?
You make sure they enjoy the sport. That's first and foremost what they're there to do, is love their sport. And from there, you can build their confidence, build their ability, and get them to enjoy competitive sport. But first and foremost, it's just about loving the game every single time, no matter the sport.
And that's the thing, because it gives them so many different tools to use throughout their life too, doesn't it?
Yep, that's it. People or kids who are engaging in sport are going to learn how to work with others, trust, work as a team, coordination skills, all these things that we associate with a physical sport anyway, but there's so much more on top of that that a child will gain.
And what about for Shannon and Louise too, making history for Scottish women in sport? It's brilliant.
It's absolutely fantastic. It's another sport that we're excelling in. They've just done absolutely incredibly, and on every level, the fact that they've achieved so much, but they're also pushing the next generation.
I suppose it kind of ties into where we kind of left the first chat, where we were talking about kind of the growth and what sport can do for you. What do you think still needs to be done to ensure that people like Shannon and Louise, that there's more girls coming through in all different sports to kind of get to that top level?
I think that they're both doing the right thing. What they need is, they're looking to go back and compete, which is awesome, but they're also looking to engage the next generation. And that's what we need, is education and trying to push others to get engaged with the sport. The more that we can build up engagement with the sport, the better we can go with investment in the sport, and that will allow more opportunities, because especially from what we've just seen there, the development pathway is crucial, and that's what we need. Like, clearly in gymnastics, they have a very strong development pathway in place to get young players straight in there from the very start, and that's incredibly crucial in every sport.
I know you've done so much work in your coaching and what you do. Do you still find that you face obstacles whilst trying to kind of get there for what you want to achieve?
I think right now, what I feel that we don't have right now is that because we're building up our disability sport in Edinburgh again, or disability tennis in Edinburgh again, there isn't enough of a competitive pathway, and that's what I'm looking to get us back in place with, is that we're connected up, that people who come along to my sessions will be connected up and given the opportunities to compete in the national leagues, because that's what we're looking for. That's what sport is all about. It's not just about coming in. Obviously that's a main part of it, is coming in and enjoying it, but we want people to experience the full aspect of sport. So that's what I'm looking to get started again in Edinburgh, is getting us connected up so that we can collaborate with other networks in the area and build up good competition.
I can imagine your tennis players are really wanting to do that too.
Yep. So that's actually, I forgot to mention that nearly. There will be an additional support needs tennis festival going on. So we're looking, that's my, at the moment, the goal is
Is that what you're working on now?
Yep. So on 20th of November, we'll be having an additional support need tennis festival, and that's to try and build up our ASN, or learning disability sessions again. So that we used to have an absolutely incredible session on the go, and it unfortunately was wiped out by the pandemic. We've had to build up from scratch, and I'm looking to get it back to where it was before, because it did so much good before, and we will get back to that.
That's amazing. So what is involved in the festival?
It will be available for all ages and all abilities. Anyone whose class is having an additional support need or a learning disability, they'll be welcome to come along, and we build the sessions around who we have and their abilities. We will match you up with similar abilities and make a session out of that. Whatever can be done, or we will build on that. So it's about whether, if we want someone who wants to come along and play some competitive tennis, that's what we're going to bring. If it's about just enjoying the sport or building up some skills, that's also what we're going to bring. We'll have loads of volunteers on site, and it's quite intense when it comes to coaches and volunteers. We do need quite a lot to ensure we can run effectively. But that basically, it works to our advantage that we can then set up and have lots of groups running at once and everyone getting something out of it.
And how do you get people involved? Is it a case of word of mouth or through different kind of clubs?
That's how disability sport works generally, is getting out to the right groups, and that's what we need to do, is reach out to support groups in the disability community. That's how you find that's how everyone else finds everyone else. I guess, like, in form of being an amputee, I would find a lot of information about sports available through my amputee rehab clinic. So that's the best way to reach out, is find clinics like that, support groups like that, and that's what we're looking to do. And a lot of it is being helped by our participants and their parents right now, who are reaching out for us, which I can't thank them enough for doing that.
Rebecca, that is amazing, and that's that it'll bring joy to so many people.
Yep.
Cool, I can't wait to hear how you get on with that.
Thank you.
Wel, yn talmynys sŵl o h-Ostair ar na Cruinne siar von na Geamaichean ag Alba yn ein h-Ostair agus Poblachd na h-Èireann ag Camden, leis na halabanich a cael yn ein skip ag Bheir a pau, ag hielachach na bí iad de dol go Cupa na Cruinne yn aflína.
Dyna ni dyma, hwys yn y nostr at ei gael gyda ti drapsa. Sy'n ys corym y chwtarsing, agos y chiad giach yn ysyn Lee Gibson, agos ddim yn gysw giaf y Geamaichean. Yn Cuthbert ei ddifal. Bawd yn ys y chi yn ystau. Wir, cael ti ddasgolad, agos gydach Gosinsberger. Nice bit of skill there, Haley, by Caroline Weir. Just couldn't get the power in the final shot.
Yeah, it's a good ball in from Aaron initially. I think those little ones in front post in these conditions, but that touch there from Caroline, sublime.
Yes, going to get the connection with Asher with Cuthbert. I guess, well, yeah, McShinavy Matt.
We're a little bit slack in the middle of the park, and that sums Nicole Bila up. She just wants to get the ball out of the feet, looks up, sees Lee and wants to strike.
Yeah, the Commonwealth Evans, the Shabal stick, Colach Thomas with all of the hunt. And so these Weinroy for Guy and a fella. Rashak Weir, Bali shall drops it. And it's Georgieva, Savad, Uerele, Shomava Alapakata, Korkucha, Magus Savalig, Gosinsberger. Magus. T-seachdain-sa yn gorau tŵl, dol hyn y siyntig alapa. Chyswyd mae gyda Corchad Ash, Gosinsberger. Steik o Puntigan, Juval, Sadrazil, Cwnnant y shot ag alapa. Nis Shannon Archer yn ystau, agos am yswinion cydwyd. Gibson pick in the shin. I think that ultimately came off the bar, Haley, but it was a well-worked move and Austria going close to the opener.
Yeah, it was the best move of the game for Austria. Moving it well into the pockets, into the box, and laying it off for a great strike.
Wow, Suez drops it. After the is Chabal. Oh, Cruinne! Agus h-Ostair, Abby Harrison on the tail line.
What a fantastic ball in from Erin. You can see Abby there, she goes away and then comes in and meets the ball. It's a great header and a fantastic goal for Scotland.
Louise again evokes there. Oh, Agus Carashin had to follow up. She was trying, you could see what she was trying to do here, just curl into the top corner.
Yeah, she was. It's great feet here, but for me, Claire Emsley has to sense that and come and help Nick out.
Yn y tîn I fiach yn rhywun bros na chwch bal ysgyniol fy corsi gyda Lorach Brown ysdiach de Caroline Weir yr Ashka Brown ysdiach as y bwg sy'n ha Martha Thomas agos ai bwol y match y tarsyn ha gyda cors bwye y dol de fahi agos bryd finish de Alba ti'n Suez agus Safalú scanneal for Courtney Brosnan Blánis a gléine húm na héireann díreach déis sin na cíalaithe chum scanneal ag Alba tuiseach a game for Paralimpeach Safalú scanneal cudromach. Probably a good height to see.
Yeah, I think so. It's not our best, albeit a good save.
Heimbal playing hula orlach a suringi agus satal a horst satal arst via isteach agus díreach isteach Ranandale. Scotland will claim they knew the rules and that was all fine, but it was a very heart and mouth moment.
Yeah, you can see Lee Gibson there gesturing, it's fine, it's fine. But yeah, that's the third throw to come right into that 6-yard box now, and Ireland will be devastated that nobody's got a touch on that.
Sullivan h-Ostair go Barrett a bríise go tá Bill Gibson tá stiùidio seachad Lee Gibson ball a thuang a bhain Sophie Hurd a miana farge agus sin a faighinn Amber Barrett a dulga notion. Great pace and calm finish.
Yeah, it's slack from Scotland in the lead up to it. We give the ball away unnecessarily, but our first touch is exceptional. It takes it away from Sophie Howard. She can't recover, and yeah, the finish is fantastic.
Viking Howard idiot of all. Could have said, "Hi, look, Martha Thomas is a box at ball at Tuchum, into the Haynes, Paralimpeach good Thomas, Jean Farcawn, Cleigh at their Jean, agus a Beichel Mangors and Mierig Hive. Well, in the late first at Pav, Cuthbert go Horska Emsley is Jack for the box at East. Emsley go Aing at Ash, Iona Ballantyne, Paralimpeach continue fast go to Emsley Kata, Stree Sapaj, agus go Horska Cuthbert, Ty díreach a lorach Courtney Brosnan, díreach go Brosnan if I should go Erin Cuthbert. Emsley does well to fight and find that space for Erin Cuthbert.
Yeah, what a response that would have been from Scotland. Claire does really well, falls to Erin and the strikes, unfortunately at the goalkeeper.
Grim shot, Scanneal and Bala Hashid this jack by Lorach Emsley. Sin faking inis Iona Ballantyne Bal chunna fós the cool agus sin a Beichel. Iníist good dig sin in the bhí Dallas Jack. Alba iníist le Leichorum. Another one where the ball bounces around the box. Another half chance for Scotland, but just not falling.
Yeah, what a ball that is from Emma McCandy to the back post.
Gajera ha skipper na Héireann a dul go Cupa na Cruinne 2023.
Rebecca, what are your thoughts after watching those two games back?
It's a bit heartbreaking to watch. Like, they gave it so much, and I just felt, even just going into this, like, part of me just expected it all to go smoothly. So it was gutting to see it didn't go our way. I think it was a case of them just maybe not converting. They made the chances, they just didn't convert them into actual goals. The team did us proud.
They did, and that's the thing. I mean, even when you see at the end for Ireland, it's their first ever Women's World Cup. You could see it in the reaction. It was huge. You just wish that it was Scotland.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, it's not to take it away from Ireland. They've done absolutely fantastic there. They deserve it. It was amazing. And I guess we're seeing so much progress in the home nations, like when it comes to our football at the moment, and that's it. To see another nation progress as well is good.
How bitterly disappointing as well for those players who play at the top level. They'll have teammates who'll be playing at the World Cup and they'll only be able to watch.
I imagine, like, considering the fact they've put so much into this, an absolute heartbreak not to be able to take it a further step. I guess it will also be a little source of inspiration though to get back at it as soon as they can.
As a coach, how do you deal with those setbacks?
It's about building resilience. This is what it's, I think, one of the main priorities as a coach. So it is a case of, on the setbacks, being able to take a moment, regroup and evaluate what we could have done different, actually prepare for the future and then build on that. So yeah, I'm sure like going straight back in there, their coaches will already be set on what they need to discuss and work on.
And what about even for the players, they even coming back from that low, how do you do that?
I'm sure their brains will be ticking over on it. It is really a case of seeing what they've done as a team. Like they have over the last few games just been absolutely phenomenal, and I think they've been trailblazing in so many aspects. It's such a good team. So it's a case of looking at that and holding strong on that fact. They do have a place to build from. It's a low point for them, but as a group, I think it's a case of building from there. They can do it, and they'll know that.
What about ensuring that this setback doesn't affect them long term too? It's another huge part of mental resilience, isn't it?
Exactly, that's it. This is what I think can separate people who come into sport. It's a case of actually being able to build from there, and I think athletes that are in the top areas of their sports have that ability to stand and like reframe things. Like there's one way to look at it and say, oh, this is the worst we can do, but also they have done so much to get to this point, and that's the way to look at it, to progress rather than look back in defeat.
On a positive note though, almost 11,000 fans in attendance at Hampden Park. The same night that there was a huge Champions League game on across the city in the men's game, to get that amount of people through the doors at Hampden was fantastic to hear. They broke the record in terms of a women's competitive match. That's a good thing to take away from that.
Exactly, and that's it. That will provide another source of inspiration for them to show the progress they're making, like in this sport, where they've done so much to inspire people to stay there, watch the game, also get involved. So no matter how the games have turned out for the team, like we're making so much progress, and it's shown.
And similar to Shannon and Louise as well, in that at that game there'll be so many young girls watching their heroes. Even though it didn't end the way they wanted to, they still know that that's some people to look up to. Yeah,
there's a quote, and I can't for the life of me remember who said, if it's someone that I know or someone famous, but it's you can't be what you can't see.
Yeah.
So they're there watching and seeing, and it's a part of their reality, a part of what they're growing up with, and it's far more accessible to them than it would have been. It doesn't seem different to them than it would have, like, say, a couple of years back to my generation, when it might have been slightly different being a girl playing football. They're going along, they're like watching it, like on
normal to them, and
exactly.
Young boys too who don't know any different.
Yep, that's it. So we're driving this generation to be so want to just see it as normal is fantastic.
Exactly. Well, hopefully for the next qualification process, Scotland will be in a better place, and we can be talking about Scotland actually qualifying for a major tournament. So fingers crossed. But tell me, Rebecca, what else do you have on the radar now? Because I know you've had so much going on.
Yep, so I'm taking a small amount of recovery time. I spoke at ClearPath UK conference just at the last weekend, and there was a lot of mental preparation went into that. So I think now is a bit of time of self-care. I'm looking to physically, I want to get back to competing at some stage. So for me, it's going to be about actually, first off, preparing for some competition.
Also, you've got body feeling good?
I'm looking forward to it. I feel like there's not been enough time in the gym, and I know that as soon as you get back in there and you feel the effects, it's a positive cycle. I've forgotten the words for it, it's a scientific term. But basically, alongside that, career-wise, I'm still driving to get our disability sports disability tennis up and going. So wheelchair tennis, adult and junior, is available in Edinburgh. We're trying to drive participation levels up. Also, the additional support needs, and visually impaired coming soon as I possibly can get the volunteers involved for that as well.
That is absolutely amazing. You have got so much on your plate. I know there's always a lot going on, but we do wish you all the best with everything that's coming up, especially your festival.
Thank you.
For tennis. That'll be absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you, it's been great to be here.
Thank you. Well, sinna aghaidh in noch ach fiach gan bhísibh arás cóireann in nachheach game. Geamaichean seach go bhfuil Valentine, BBC Alba ecals gan cáilsibh program neo scíalach cudromach san bí an spór san ban an seo in Alba. Hí sin sibh in ahuras.